Welcome to Arts District. I'm your host, Carrie Saldo. Having grown up on a farm, Denver-based artist Arthur Williams has counted plants as a part of his life for as long as he can remember. He became a floral designer in 1996, and his background prior to that time, which includes gardening, sculpture, and photography, all inform an artful approach to his current work. Whether he's working to create a single floral arrangement or in a high fashion setting, the result is likely best described as floral haute couture.
You can make an arrangement out of anything, anywhere, at any time. Definitely eclectic, unusual textures and unusual combinations of things. It's a little more sculptural, a little more out there. When I'm doing something just for art's sake, then there's no real limit. The branch of Japanese floral design that's most appealing to me is called sogetsu, and it's one of the more modern schools. Like sticks and branches and bamboo and just like found objects. It's like you can recognize the branch, but then it's like in a color that's not natural, like a bright blue or hot pink. So it just brings another bit of tension to something, because it's like, well, it's natural, but it's so unnatural at the same time. And then there's just the implied tension of really strict line and chaos. So it's almost like you have a trellis and then you've let the garden kind of overtake it. So there's that tension of like very architectural and very natural. I draw a lot of inspiration from it, and just from nature and gardening in general. So I try to bring that all into my work and then throw people in there as well. I think I've always been drawn to tribal cultures and just decoration in general. That sort of adornment was always important to me, just in general. And then once you bring the floral aspect in, then it draws back to like every single culture. It's like people have always used flowers to decorate themselves. So that's always been like a key factor in like what I want to show the world and like how to kind of bridge the gap between people and flowers. Based on the colors and structure here, and then we're going to tie it in with the headdress. And then as I work, the materials kind of dictate where things will go and where it will bend and what the overall look will be. So it's more of a collaboration with the materials. Okay, I think we should do flowers now. After we have our base of foam, then I can attach anything anywhere. The way I work in general, I'm not so caught up in like, this was my idea and I have to have it exactly this way. Like if I planned it, I would be disappointed because things don't necessarily always go the way you want it to, especially when you're working with natural materials. Just kind of ethereal. Like I wanted everything to kind of feel floating and kind of like unnatural, but like bright and very airy. Part of my favorite thing with the way, especially with fashion, it's like no one can possess this, no one can have this, it's only for the moment. Well, that specific shoot kind of worked perfectly. We had a model coming in town for another reason. I had never met her, I just saw a few pictures. It was like, well, she has pink hair, that's perfect. We were a little bit thrown because the model was not comfortable doing implied nudity, so I was like, what do we do? So we ended up having to buy just plain white dresses, which worked perfectly with her hair. You have to work within what the model's comfortable working with. So that was just some of the things that go through my head during a project. If I'm doing something specifically for like an art project, I think there's a different process for me than if I'm making something for a customer. Retail-wise, it has to fit within this price range. It has to last this amount of time. Generally, when we have the orders that are like $200 to $500, it's like one arrangement, we want to blow them away. Usually the customer will give us all of the words that we need to translate. Like people will say impressive or elegant or overwhelming. So it's like you can always take those things and translate it directly into flowers easily. Most of the flowers we use, I think, tend to be things that people don't really know about. So it's kind of a surprise. We get to introduce people to new varieties of things and new techniques. People really like to see the whole process of the arrangement. So it's like they get the arrangement and then things start opening and then things start changing and then things sometimes start even growing. My favorite philosophy is wabi-sabi. And one of those is like the cherry blossoms are more exciting right before they open because it's the anticipation of what it's going to be. A big factor for me is to have people enjoy the whole process instead of like here's the arrangement, it's really pretty right now, but it's not gonna last very long. So I want it to last as long as possible. We try to let it be more of a collaboration with the customer. So instead of like, this is what you get, it's like you pick all the elements, we put it together, everybody wins, everyone gets what they want, everyone's happy. I think in the future I'll be doing more photo shoots, more book-related stuff, maybe some teaching and traveling, but I'll always have the store as a home base. I've been in the industry for 20 years and I still see things new. There's always new varieties, there's always things that are just becoming available, so I'm never ever bored in it. So it's like I try to bring those elements into what we're selling to our customers. It's like I want them to be as excited about what I'm excited about. And that, I think, is what brings the shop totally into a different kind of vibe.
I'm Carrie Saldo. Like us on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, sign up for our newsletter, and come back here to our studio next week.
Arts District is a collaboration between Rocky Mountain PBS and public radio stations KUVO and KVJZ.